Joining me now on Indiana in the Morning is the promoter for Allied Powers Wrestling Federation, Bubba Brewer. Bubba, it is great to talk to you once again. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Josh. Thanks for inviting me as always, and it's a pleasure to be on the morning show.
It's been a year now, 12 months since the APWF show in Indiana, the first show of the newly rebranded APWF. Maybe you can give our listeners an update on how things have been going with the federation.
Well, we had a great response last year at the S&T Bank Arena, over 300 people. It was a great show. We had an NWA World Championship match. We ran a couple shows at the Castle down in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. But June 27th, June 22nd, we are going to be doing an anniversary show back at the S&T Bank Arena. 9 matches, and a percentage of the ticket sales will be going to the Teddy Bear Fund Drive.
This is great. I was taking a look at the poster for the show, and I'm seeing a lot of familiar regional names. I saw Bill Collier is going to be coming back. Spencer Slade is going to be there as well. But I'm also noticing some stars from, I guess, one of the stars from my generation of wrestling. If you were a fan of ECW, you definitely know this guy. He was a workhorse back in the late days of ECW.
Well, that workhorse actually wrestled for the Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. I'm looking at the poster, and actually he wrestled at the K Arena in 2005.
Wow, that goes back
Um,
a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he actually remembered that show because that was his first show after getting released by the WWE. That was his first independent show. He wrestled Julio Sanchez, but he's coming back and he's wrestling a guy that's taking titles all up and down the coast of the East Coast of the United States, Vince Valor.
And we should tell everybody who that person is. That is, of course, he's now known today as the Man Beast Rhino.
That's correct. I let you say that. Yeah.
That is amazing that he was able to remember one of those early one of those independent shows that he remembered Indiana with such fondness.
He said he had a good time. He remembered the atmosphere, the crowd, and he's hoping to have it recaptured at the S&T Bank Arena on June 22nd, 3 o'clock bell time.
All right, so let's go over kind of the organization and the planning. Now you've had a year of this of booking matches here for
It's
APWF. I mean, it was the first show back last year. Has it? What is it like being a booker and a promoter for professional wrestling, especially local and regional promotions?
well, it's trying to get the talent. I actually have somebody that helps me out booking the matches by the gentleman name of Chris Royce. And Chris, I get Chris the names, and Chris does his magic of putting these matches together. We have a small staff, Shane Stodmiller, my wife Tammy, and Larry Stryker from Johnstown. We're the main guys of the organization of the Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. So to do a website's very hard. Social media is very hard. When you book the show and somebody cancels, and you have to find somebody, that is chaotic. But I wanted to bring something to Indiana because Indiana does not have sports wrestling entertainment. You can
It's
call it
been
professional wrestling sports entertainment.
it's actually resurged a lot, in fact, in Western Pennsylvania. I think there are a lot of federations, a lot of promotions out there right now. The one that comes to mind is Imagine Wrestling out of the Altoona area, but
That's correct.
there's like a ton of federations in Western Pennsylvania. How do you make APWF stand out?
Oh, just by creating unique matches. Because, like you said, Josh, Imagine Wrestling, they run monthly. They have a great product. IWC, RWA, Rise Wrestling. I mean, that's a lot of wrestling companies in Western Pennsylvania alone. And sometimes they wrestle on the same nights. A lot of these companies we just mentioned wrestle on Saturdays. The good thing about the Allied Powers Wrestling Federation right now is it's a Sunday show.
Hmm.
So that is good. There's, it's a fan-friendly show. You got 9 exciting matches, and it's matches for everybody.
You talk about fan friendly. I got to attend the show last year up close and personal. I mean, you are within an arm's reach of the wrestlers. and you get to high five them, you get to interact. Sometimes you get to jaw with some of the bad guys out there, some of the heels.
Well, we do a meet and greet. We're gonna do a meet and greet with Rhino before bell time, and all the wrestlers are gonna have their gimmicks to sell. So they're gonna be interacting with all the fans,
Mhm.
during intermission and before the show, and a little bit after the show. So I mean, it's just something. Like I said the last time, I did it to bring you know, Team Tap Out, have one more last match,
Mhm.
and one last match turned into three shows.
Which with that one last match though, with Team Tap Out last year, that was a great match against the Rad Boys, who have gone their separate ways. But that match
Yes,
that
yes.
match was an incredible match, and I think everybody was telling Mr. Tap Out last year, you still got it, even though he had been out of local action for a long time.
Well, he impressed a lot of people, and but he's retired, and it was a good thing to let him, hang up his boots, in his hometown of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Him and Chris Coleman one
Mhm.
last time. So that was good. So
So let's talk about the card for this coming event uh, at S&T Bank Arena. So who's going to be on the undercard?
well, the undercard is going to be you just spoke about half of the Rad Boys. One of the Rad Boys, Braden Elliott, is going to be going against Matt McCoy. And we also have Cowpoke Paul is going against Price Pure Gold.
Cowpoke Paul actually impressed me last time around at the Indiana show last year. He was a great performer and a guy with a lot of great attitude.
Well, he's everywhere, and he's making a good name for himself in the independent wrestling on the East Coast of the United States. And we also got, like you said before, NWA superstar Spencer Slade is going against Thomas Kennedy. And anytime that you can get Slade on a card, it is actually an honor and a privilege to see him wrestle in a wrestling ring.
Spencer Slade is kind of one of those products of the regional system because I remember seeing him in Imagine Wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and just the fact that he has such a great story. The headgear is for real because of the
Yes.
fact that he is hearing impaired. Am I right?
You are absolutely correct. And it doesn't let him slow him down one bit because he's in every wrestling company. He wrestles 4 or 5 times a week, taking championships and making a bigger name for Spencer Slade in the professional wrestling world.
What's it like to see somebody like a Spencer Slade make it to the big time in the NWA?
It's great because he's worked so hard. And I've seen him, wrestle when he wrestled at IWC and Imagine Wrestling, and he wrestles everywhere. So it's great to see um, wrestlers like that, on your TV because you can watch it on YouTube, and YouTube is a big, huge thing
Yeah.
for wrestling. It's huge. Independent wrestling is huge, and then we actually have IndieWrestling.us actually films the Allied Powers Wrestling product, and you can watch it on there, and you can watch it on my Triple B Experience, also on my YouTube channel. So wrestling is so big. There's
Yeah.
wrestling shows every night of the week, and then you have the independents on the weekends.
Yeah.
And like I said, these guys are wrestling 4 or 5 nights a week.
It's amazing. It's just the workload to go through, as you said, 4 or 5 nights a week. That would be exhausting for a lot of people.
Well, it'd
Let's
be
get
exhausting for me. That's for
Oh,
sure.
geez, you got that right. All right, so let's get back to some of the other matches on the card. We just mentioned Spencer Slade involved in a match.
we have
Who
a
else is going to be
we have
involved?
a ladies match. Ava Brooks, first time ever in the Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. She's been knocking it in all these companies. Actually, I believe she's going to be defending her title in Indiana against Liberty L. Villainous. She used to be known as Scarlet, and she is a monster of a female wrestler. And Ava is not that big, and she's a little faster. So I think she's going to be defending her title Sunday afternoon at the S&T Bank Arena. So I mean that's going to be something. I tried to get a ladies match last year. It didn't work out. We got a couple on at the Castle shows, and I wanted to bring some female wrestling to Indiana, Pennsylvania, because female wrestling is now very super hot. It's
Hmm.
huge everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. The women's revolution in WWE and AEW has definitely powered that interest in women's wrestling in
Mm-hmm.
probably these smaller companies. So, what else do we have on the schedule?
Well, this is the main event. This is the main event. Um, he turned his back on the fans. And he's the IWC World Heavyweight Champion, but he turned his back on the fans. And I think he's just running rampant. And it's big time. Bill Collier
Oh,
is going against gorgeous Gregory. Gregory has been making a big name for himself in Imagine Wrestling, in Rise Wrestling, down south in some states, winning titles. This match has never been done before, and that's why the Allied Powers Wrestling Federation is something different, where I'm getting matches that people haven't seen before. So that's what makes it special.
hmm This definitely sounds like a very unique match, and it's probably two people that you would, as you said, you probably would never expect to see in a wrestling ring at the same time. So we've got,
Not against each other.
yeah,
I think this is their first encounter. We are very honored to actually get these guys, because these guys are so busy. So we're very honored to have them come to Indiana, Pennsylvania.
mhm. And we mentioned this last year, and I know that you've been going through just a couple of shows. Is there the possibility, again, I'll ask it, is there the possibility that APWF gets its own champion?
I I I I hope. I hope.
All right, fingers crossed then.
Yeah. Because we got a lot of variety of wrestlers. You know what? We got a podcaster who actually podcasts with Jake the Snake Roberts wrestling. Marcus D'Angelo will be on the show tagging up with Jake Wiley.
Hmm
So that is something, and he's been causing trouble everywhere. He's coming to Indiana, and it's going to be something. So you know, it's just it. I'm honored to get these guys and
Yeah,
girls when I
that's
can get
great.
them.
Yeah, it's great. It's always great. Okay, so let's run down the particulars once again. This is going to be at S&T Bank Arena. What day?
June 22nd. The doors open at 2 p.m. We'll have a meet and greet with the last ECW World Champion, Rhino, two-time
Hmm
SmackDown champion with Heath Slater, and
Yep.
the TNA Hall of Famer, Rhino. He's going against Vince Valor. And everybody, you guys can get your tickets at PP&J's in Indiana, Pennsylvania is the only place that you can get these tickets at a ticket outlet. Now it's on www.apwfwrestling.com. You can order them online. But
hmm
you know what? Go out and see Phil. Get some barbecue pork, and get the smoked pasta salad and smoked deviled eggs out there. Hey, thumbs up. And Phil's been a
Gotcha.
proud sponsor of this company since I came back, and he's been doing great stuff, and I appreciate him, as I appreciate all the sponsors that actually partnered up with me for this show and the prior shows in the past. And it's good to support small businesses and people that help me out, and I try to sponsor and help them out as much as I could, spreading the word about these companies.
And we appreciate the fact that the portion of the gate is going to go to Renda Media's Teddy Bear Fund Drive, which of course helps out child health care at Indiana Regional Medical Center and the Free Care Fund of Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh, to make sure that if a kid has to go to Children's Hospital, and if they have an inability to pay, that doesn't matter. That's what the Free Care Fund is there for. But again, we appreciate the fact that APWF is willing to help out in that regard.
Well, it's the
But
second time
yeah,
we've done it, and I love using the organization for charity, and it's a special place in my heart to try to help people of Indiana County. People in Indiana County, we have something special here. We could pack this house and make this probably one of the biggest independent wrestling shows around, and we can show these other places that have wrestling what it is to have a show in Indiana, Pennsylvania, at the S&T Bank facility. That arena is spectacular
it
for
is. It
having
is.
events.
It is. All right. Hey, Bubba, we got to get rolling, but thanks again for joining us here on
I
Indiana in the Morning. And again, all the best to you. And
I
we'll see you
appreciate
at
it. Thank you
we'll,
very much. Get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. www.apwfwrestling.com. It's going to be a Sunday that Indiana County will never forget.